The story I have for you tonight is not for little ones, nor is it for the faint-hearted. It is a ghost story. It starts in the mid-1700s in the city of Edinburgh, late at night, where the priest sat at his desk. He was going over letters and papers. He had a busy job. The night would have been long, but soon he would get to turn into sweet sleep when a knock at the door. Now, he'd been in the business long enough to know that knocks on the door at this hour were never good news. So with anxious trepidation, he slipped down the stairs and opened the door, only to be confronted by two great, hulking figures of men. Black leather masks obscured their faces. "Come with us," one of them barked. The priest, he didn't exactly like the look of the two men, and he explained that he was a busy man. He had papers and letters to be attending to, and he was up early in the morning. And unless they could come up with a better reason than "come with us," he was going back to his desk. A pistol was placed in front of his face, and the order barked again. "Come with us." Now, the priest thought that the pistol was a much better reason to go with the men, and he did. He was blindfolded, bundled into a horse and cart, and he was taken around the streets of Edinburgh. Now, he knew the city well, but even with his knowledge, Edinburgh, if you've been, it crisscrosses, streets dissolve into each other. He lost his place rather quickly. He had no idea how long he'd been travelling, when abruptly the horse and cart stopped. He was pulled out, and his blindfold was removed. Before he could look around him, he was pushed into an open door. In front of him was a red staircase with white wallpaper with flowers on. And as he started to go up the dimly lit staircase, he became aware of sounds, crying. But not just any crying, some the sounds of a woman weeping, and then the unmistakable shrieks of a young baby. The priest did not like where this was going, but every time he looked back behind him, the two men were there and the pistol was out. So the priest followed the stairs up to the door at the top of the landing. He opened it, and inside, at the foot of a four-poster bed, there was a young woman. Jet black hair draped all around her white dress, and she was huddled over something, sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. And from underneath the woman's hair, the priest could hear the sound of a baby shrieking. He turned to the men and said, "Well, what would you have me do here?" And the man with the pistol said, "Give them the last rites." The priest said, "The last rites? The last rites? The mother is young and healthy, and the baby sounds healthy enough. The last rites are for people when they're going to die. I cannot give them to people such as these." The pistol was placed right in front of his face. "Give them the last rites." Our priest knew he had no choice. And so, as gently and as softly as he could, he began to read the last rites. His voice was so soft and soothing that the baby stopped crying, but the mother, she was inconsolable and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. He took as long as he could, but eventually he had to finish. And when he did, he was led back down the stairs by the man without the pistol. As he moved down the stairs, the screams began from both of them. Bang! No more cries from the baby. Bang! screams at all. The priest was blindfolded once more, bundled up into that horse and cart and taken back to his home. And he was told if he told a single soul of what he'd seen that night, he would meet the same fate. Now the next morning, our priest awoke as if he had had a nightmare, and he was woken by his servant, who came in full of the news. Had he heard? Had he heard? A great fire, sir, at Chesil's court. Oh my, and a tragedy. A young mother and her infant baby caught in the blaze. Oh no, oh, such a tragedy indeed. The priest was not stupid and began to put two and two together. You see, it transpired that this young lady and the infant child, they were actually the daughter and granddaughter of a wealthy merchant family. But she, the daughter, had been rumoured to have had her child out of wedlock. Now, this was Scotland in the mid-1700s, a deeply religious place, and to have a child out of wedlock was a sin. It was blackening the family name, and with a black name came no money. And so the priest came to the conclusion that the family had had their own daughter and grandchild executed just to keep their fortunes safe. He kept his end of the bargain. It was only on his deathbed that he told this tale to his niece, who wrote it down, and so it passes to us. But his story doesn't end there. Years later, at Chesil's court, another fire broke out. And this time it was during the day, and a fire during the day obviously attracts a great crowd, and so there was a great crowd huddled round, people jostling to try and see what was going on. The whole building was up in a blaze, an inferno. And then a cry. Somebody saw in the flames, oh no, there's a woman there. Not just a woman with a baby. She was dressed all in white, and jet black hair streamed around her, and she barely seemed to notice the flames, just rocking her child from side to side. It was as if she was immune. People called out to her, tried to get close, but the flames were just too hot. Until she saw them. She tucked her baby under one arm and stepped out. She pointed and she said, "I've burned once, I've burned twice. Next time, I'll burn you all." She disappeared back into the flames. There was no next time. Chesil's court has not burned down a third time. Perhaps it will, perhaps it won't. I have a theory that the fire of Edinburgh, the Great Fire of Edinburgh that took place at the beginning of the 1800s, may well have been her attempt to burn us all. But fortunately, it did not. The city was saved despite losing much of the mile to the blaze. Chesil's court was unharmed. So perhaps, if you are planning a travel, after all this is over, up north to Scotland's glorious capital, think carefully about where you stay, and just bring a fire extinguisher with you, I guess. I hope you enjoyed the tale. Sleep well and dream terrible.